Now at 9, contamination prompts state officials to issue an advisory about Cow Creek in Pittsburgh.
Carthage Chamber of Conference hosts its first men's meeting. I'm Lonnie Walton in Carthage. I'll have that story coming up.
And looking to make a move, prospective home buyers and sellers are seeking bright spots in the critical spring selling season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas Department of Health and Environment issues a stream advisory for Cow Creek due to elevated levels of E. coli contamination. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Anthony Saviello joins us live from the Pittsburgh Water Treatment Plant with details of the advisory and what's being done.
Yeah, Tanya, thanks. We're out here at the wastewater treatment facility here in Pittsburgh. The KDHE says that there's a stream advisory as a result of problems here operationally at the Pittsburgh water treatment facility. Now, the city of Pittsburgh says that on Sunday they discovered a pipe failure, and then on Monday the city turned around and started trying to repair that failure. However, whatever the repair work is supposed to be going on is not currently taking place. There are currently no crews out here, out at the water treatment facility. And on top of that, the city has not said when this issue is supposed to be resolved. So the KDHE issued today, because potential elevated levels of E. coli bacteria and other contaminants may now be present in Cow Creek and Spring River, that stream advisory has been issued. It's important to note that if you're around these areas, you should not go into the water, you should not be near the water, don't let your kids or animals in the water either. So let's take a look at some of the affected areas. Those affected areas include right here near the water treatment facility into Cow Creek. Cow Creek then leads into Spring River. In Spring River, the affected area goes all the way down towards Empire Lake near Riverton. So if you live or have activities near these streams, again, you, your children, your animals should not enter or be around these areas currently due to the elevated levels of E. coli. The KDHE will rescind their advisory once contact has been deemed safe. Again, no information currently as to when the repair will be done here at the treatment plant, or what action is being taken to prevent further contamination. Of course, we'll update this story as we know more, but for now, Tanya, back to you.
All right, Anthony Saviello, thank you so much for that report. Well, Newton County authorities try to track down the source of trash that inconvenienced several drivers in the county this morning. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on the litter dump investigation.
Was a lot of trash in the road, and that there was a big traffic hazard there and some issues with the morning traffic.
If you were driving down Iris Road between I-49 and Hammer Road in Newton County, you may have noticed a massive amount of trash blocking the roadway. Eastbound
lane was almost completely blocked with trash, large amount of trash there, and the westbound lane was travelable.
This caused a hiccup in many people's morning commute.
It caused some problems with people going to work, early morning traffic, that kind of thing. The deputies were out just directing traffic, getting the school buses through and that.
Now the chief deputy says they're in the process of trying to figure out the culprit of this massive littering violation. The sheriff's office initially thought a local waste management truck could be the culprit, but based on GPS tracking, it wasn't them.
Just by the amount of trash that was there was probably a garbage truck. We don't know what else it would be to drop that much trash there. And it very well could have been accidental or something, but we just wanted to look into it.
Accident or not, someone definitely needs to clean up their act. Reporting in Newton County, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The trash spill is now cleaned up and safe to drive through. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, temperatures are in the mid-60s. It was a pretty mild day. We got into the mid to lower 70s. We've had overcast all day, which kept us a little bit cooler. Now, we do still have a flood warning in Osage River near Shell City as well. That's until Sunday. So you can see pretty still high river levels across the area. We've got a few more showers that could be passing through late tonight into early tomorrow morning. You can see severe weather out into the western parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, even Texas because of a dry line, but we're looking okay. Not expecting any severe weather, at least not for the next several days. We do have more storm chances again returning tonight. You can see how those storms start to pass by, mostly just south of us. They kind of rotate back in south of I-44, but they fall apart. So we're going to get isolated showers, isolated thunderstorms throughout the next couple of days. Temperatures are pretty mild as well. More thunderstorms return over the weekend, but again, limited severe threat until Monday. I'm going to have those details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Authorities in Montgomery County, Kansas, charge a Coffeyville man with attempted murder. Court documents show on Tuesday, Norman Starr fired a gun multiple times toward the victim, a woman, and toward a neighboring property. In addition to attempted first-degree murder, the Montgomery County attorney has also filed charges of aggravated battery, criminal threat, and criminal discharge of a firearm at an occupied dwelling. Joplin High School's Constitution team took first place at the state competition and got recognized in a big way because of it. The president of the Missouri Bar Association, Shelley Dreyer, visited the school to congratulate the students in person.
It's important that all Americans have a civic education and understand the basic principles of the Constitution, because that is the basis of our democracy. To see these students having such a wealth of knowledge about the Constitution is so refreshing.
She had also made it clear during her visit the spotlight should be on the students and their incredible achievement. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce today hosted an inaugural men's leadership breakfast at the YMCA Youth Activity Center in Carthage. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton explains, the event highlighted conversations about mentorship, education, and networking.
I talked to several participants of this event, and they say events like this are great for those who want to lead.
A strength and a peace to be able to step out and do these things.
Derek Manifold is a successful business owner of Make Believe Coffee Shop in Carthage. He was asked to lead this inaugural event to encourage men to be leaders, and like many, he discovered that starting his own business wasn't easy.
It was a little scary starting the shops. We started right around the time of COVID and the pandemic.
Attendee Christopher Palma started his digital marketing business during COVID, but he said it all worked out.
Neither of us knew that COVID was going to happen in that time frame, and so it all came out at the perfect time where I was able to transition out.
And that's why CEO of Carthage YMCA, Jonathan Roberts, says organized events like these help encourage men to be successful leaders like Manifold and Palmer.
It's for men to get together to not only talk about the good and the bad, but also about the families, things that they may need, to just have an opportunity to have fellowship.
And president of Carthage Chamber of Commerce, Julie Ream, says it's needed in the community.
I think it's important for our area when like-minded individuals, the leaderships in our community, the younger generation can come together and learn from those that are seasoned in the workforce.
With that said, all these men we spoke to attribute their success to their faith.
We do like to make sure that the Christianity is a strong emphasis.
Yeah. That's how you know it's God.
Without him, I'm really not able to be anything or do anything.
Reporting in Carthage, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
If you missed today's event, the organizer says there will be more opportunities throughout the year. Well, coming up, peace talks in jeopardy.
President Trump is not happy with Putin after Russia launched a major attack on Ukraine overnight. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with how this could impact peace talks coming up.
But first, in Health Watch, a mental health and wellness program designed to help farmers and ranchers loses its funding after the latest round of federal cuts.
Nominate your four-state hero.
A mental health and wellness program that helps Colorado farmers and ranchers has lost its funding after the latest round of federal cuts. Fox's Ashley Michaels has more.
We're told that funding was abruptly frozen on Thursday and that it couldn't come at a worse time. Stepping into Sarah's backyard.
Mamas.
Feels like it's a world away from Denver. Really, how often do you see a 2-week-old sheep?
I started my farm when I was 14 for FFA.
And she says it became her identity.
So like people know me as Chicken Sarah.
In 2022, though, she was forced to sell her farm and her 5,000 animals.
When I was ending my farm, I had a few moments of thinking about checking out, going on, being done.
She's far from alone in feeling that way. According to the American Farm Bureau, the suicide rate in the ag industry is 2 to 5 times higher than the national average.
You're basing your whole livelihood on something that could maybe not be there tomorrow.
Between natural disasters, tariffs, inflation, and federal cuts, she says the financial side of farming is stressful. And then there's the loneliness.
Like, I'll share a picture of my cute lamb on social media. I won't share what just happened and like, oh man, I had to bury, get a couple lambs. And that's like super heavy, and most of the time you just hold it to yourself, but when you can go talk with other farmers, it goes a long way.
That's why Rocky Mountain Farmers Union started a mental health program 4 years ago called AgWell to give farmers and ranchers a sense of community and teach them how to cope.
One question we ask people all the time, our farmers and ranchers, is do you take care of yourself like you take care of your animals? And most of the time the answer is no.
Sarah says AgWell saved her life.
I mean, I'm still here, so that's something, yeah.
Now, though, the program's future is in jeopardy after its federal funding was cut.
No matter what, we're going to keep Farmers Union. We'll keep talking about it and keep our programming going. Will we be able to do it to the extent that we want to? No.
She says she's just hoping they can still find some way to reach Colorado farmers who need that help the most.
It's important because it's real. If you have some depression or some other issues going on, it's like shameful and it shouldn't be.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later we check out plans for a new Route 66 monument honoring the Mother Road in Southwest Missouri.
For Wild West Town,
Well, it's been a little bit of a rainy day. We've had a few scattered showers south, just along I-44 a little bit north. You can see taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Anyone who didn't see any scattered showers today mostly just saw some clouds. So it was a little bit of an overcast day. Now you can see we've got some storms firing off, a couple of isolated supercells out there, West Texas, West Oklahoma, and even into western Kansas. So we are staying pretty clear of all of the severe threat. You can see some of these showers, thunderstorms kind of pushing in south of Wichita. They're going to move into our area, mostly staying south of I-44 as they push in, but we might still see a couple of isolated showers, thunderstorms pushing in still through the morning hours, but then we're mostly cloudy, a couple of isolated showers in there, but most of us are going to stay dry and temperatures reaching mid-70s again. Now our weekend forecast, the same thing happens. We've got these pop-up storms on Saturday. Again, not a widespread threat for Saturday. Couple of storms again early afternoon continuing until mid-afternoon to late evening, and then we've got scattered and isolated shower chances and storm chances on Sunday. Now it's going to be a bit cooler on Saturday following this front that's passing by, and then Sunday again those isolated chances. Now once we get into the weekend, we're going to start to see our winds shifting out of the south. That's going to be late Saturday where we have a warmer day on Sunday, the mid to upper 70s. Winds pick up out of the south as we head into Monday. You can see 30, 35 miles per hour, even up to 40 miles per hour. This is about 7 a.m. These continue through most of the morning, and then we're having a cold front actually passing by, and that's going to be late late Monday into Tuesday as well. So although we have these scattered shower chances, these isolated storm chances through the weekend, not widespread, it's also not going to be a severe threat. Not until Monday we have the chance to see some stronger storms. Here's 10:30. See that cold front starting to push in. Now it moves into the area Monday night into Tuesday, so we're going to have potential for strong to possibly low and severe. It's still a little bit early to say what category that's going to be at, but then you can see south of I-44, once we get into early Tuesday afternoon, that's where our severe threat will shift a little bit further south and then heading out of the area. So like I said, although we do have quite a bit of chances of rain over the rest of the week, so Friday and into the rest of the weekend, not going to be widespread, and we also don't even have a low risk for severe weather Friday or Saturday. So we have our SPC 3-day outlook. So we're looking pretty good until we see Monday night and into Tuesday, but then we still have a couple more isolated storm chances Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures remain rather mild. We have a couple of cooler days in there, upper 60s, which is a little bit below average, but for the most part, we're going to be in the 70s. We've got a couple of cooler days, a couple of warmer days. All in all, not too bad. Really spring weather without the severe threat, which is nice, at least for the weekend.
Yeah, so. I mean, we need we don't want a ton of rain,
yes,
but it's always nice to get a little bit of rain.
A little bit of rain, although I would love a dry day to mow my lawn because my lawn is crazy high.
I need a dry day to get it mowed, and then I need to plant some more flowers, and then let it rain again.
And then we have some more need. Yeah, we need some more rain.
We'll take it. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, a must-stop photo op is coming for Route 66 fans. Springfield city leaders say artists are in the process of designing a major sculpture to honor the Mother Road. It'll be placed near the Rail Haven Motel on the original route. Funded by the state legislature to the tune of $1 million, the monument will commemorate Route 66's conception in Springfield in 1926.
We will be sharing some ideas of what that looks like to the public, getting some input and certainly some input from City Council, but it will be very prominent and hopefully very beautiful as a marker for the birthplace of Route 66.
Now, Springfield was just named the host city for America's Route 66 Centennial Celebration. Events across the country will kick off with a concert at the Shrine Mosque in Springfield on April 30th, 2026. Well, coming up, home buyer optimism.
Home buyers and sellers are looking for bright spots in the critical spring selling season, just as a new report shows sales slumping in March. I'm Jerry Willis with Fox Business. The details ahead.
President Trump is still optimistic about the nation's housing market despite this morning's sales report. Usually home sales heat up along with the weather, but as Jerry Willis reports, March saw a big drop as prices rose for the 21st consecutive month.
As the spring housing market gets underway, the National Association of Realtors reporting existing home sales plummeted in March. Here are the numbers. March sales falling 5.9% month to month and even down year over year by 2.4%. The move even surprising NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun, who said he had expected building inventories to boost sales, but it was not to be. Barbara Corcoran, founder of Corcoran Group, said economic uncertainty and Trump's tariffs are undermining confidence among potential buyers. Though Trump's announcement of tariffs didn't occur until April 2nd, he vowed to raise tariffs as early as his first day in office.
It's the main card. People don't like to buy in uncertain times. People worry. People at home are worried about their futures and nervous about everything. And the last thing they do is want to make a large commitment to anything. They hesitate.
Meanwhile, Realtor.com noting that the home sales decline occurring at the same time as mortgage rates coming down. According to Danielle Hale, Realtor.com chief economist, quote, these March home sales would likely have gone under contract in February and early March when mortgage rates declined from near 7% to 6.6%. Hale went on to say, quote, the tailwind of falling mortgage rates was likely offset by rising concerns about the outlook for personal financial situations and job security reported in consumer surveys, despite the fact that actual labor market data remained quite healthy. Some good news out of that report. Inventories are increasing, up 8.1% month to month, which should ultimately boost sales. Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Well, from flowers to fruit plants to honey and soaps, Carl Junction kicks off its very first farmers market. We'll take you there after the break. Carl Junction community members cut the ribbon on the newest farmers market in the 4 states, right next to the Briarbrook Golf Course. This is the first time CJ has ever hosted its own market. And there were about a dozen local vendors with lots of options to pick from. Honey, soaps, flowers, and even strawberries.
We have a pick your own strawberry. We've got around 20,000 strawberry plants. We have about 1,000 lavender plants that we make our own oil. And we sell different varieties of lemongrass, lavender products. This is really a nice opportunity that Carl Junction has started for all of us.
Carl Junction Farmers Market is open Thursday evenings through October. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. DMV lines grow as the Real ID deadline nears. What you need to know if you plan to fly after May 7th. And President Trump expresses frustration after Russia's deadly missile and drone strikes, an attack that could derail Trump's hopes for a quick and tidy end to the fighting.
Bang Theory.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. We are less than 2 weeks away until the federal Real ID enforcement, and that happens on May 7th. As Reagan DiTrolio reports, lines at Missouri DMV offices are getting longer by the day.
We wanted to get it before there was a major rush and long lines getting it.
Michael Bottoms says he got his Real ID about a year ago because he knew lines would get long at the DMV with everyone waiting to make the change.
I had to come back like 3 times, so if you do come to get your Real ID, make sure you have everything.
The Missouri Department of Revenue Director Trish Vincent says only certain documents will be accepted to get a Real ID.
Your birth certificate, your couple of bills or your voter ID that shows that your residence and where you live. You also, need to make sure that you have your social security number. And for women that are married, we change our names, right? So you would have to have a certified marriage certificate. Now it has to be certified, not just a copy.
The reason behind the Real ID requirement is to prevent fraud and identity theft, and it's been in the works for a long time. The Real ID Act was passed by the U.S. Congress in 2005 after the 9/11 Commission recommended the federal government set new standards for the issuance of identification to achieve enhanced security. You will need a Real ID to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. You'll also need it to enter nuclear power plants. If you're planning to fly and don't have a Real ID, the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, wrote in a statement to KY3, after May 7th, passengers who present a state-issued identification that is not Real ID compliant and who do not have another acceptable alternative like a passport can expect to face delays, additional screening, and the possibility of not being permitted into the security checkpoint. Keep in mind, the temporary paper license you get at the DMV will not be accepted to board domestic flights.
If you want to get your Real ID, do it now, because the lines are just going to get longer as it gets closer to the deadline.
Well, keep in mind, it can take about 7 to 10 business days to get your official Real ID in the mail. Well, in a series of 7 executive orders, President Trump takes aim at America's education system. Among those he signed on Wednesday, one order targets the college accreditation process. In another order on colleges, higher education institutions are required to disclose where their foreign money is coming from or have their federal funding cut off. Trump also signed 2 executive orders revising classroom management guidelines, revoking Obama-Biden guidance of basing discipline on racial equity. Another order aims at bringing artificial intelligence in. Integrating AI into education has been a focus for both Democrats and Republicans over fears of American students falling behind other nations. Well, President Donald Trump says he is not happy after Russia launches its deadliest attack on Ukraine's capital in 9 months, putting any potential peace deal at risk. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
First responders sifting through rubble Thursday after Russian strikes on Ukraine's capital killed at least 12 people and injured dozens. President Trump reacting on Truth Social, "I am not happy with the Russian strikes, not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop."
I started out because I didn't like all the money that we were paying, and then I realized how many people were dying, and that's by far the more important element right now.
The attack comes just a day after Trump said he believed Russia was ready for peace and accused Ukraine's president of being the holdout.
I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky, and I hope that Zelensky, I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far, it's been harder.
Trump's peace proposal calls for Ukraine giving up Crimea to Russia, something Ukrainian President Zelensky says he will not do.
We were attacked. Our territory was occupied. Tens of thousands of people were killed, many children and adults buried alive. The fact that Ukraine is ready to sit at a negotiations table after a complete ceasefire with the terrorists that did it all. This is a great compromise.
We're trying to end the dying, we're trying to end the destruction, and we've shown the path forward. We can see the finish line, but both of them have to get there.
The Trump administration says it is making progress on a rare earth minerals deal with Ukraine, which could be signed this week. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, many clothing items contain plastic, but those plastic fibers shed each time they're worn and washed. What you can do to help reduce the cycle.
The supermarket would like to congratulate.
Well, we might get a few more rain showers tonight, but we have isolated chances all through the weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. So far, the Joplin area is staying pretty dry, but we've had a couple of isolated showers already passing by. More isolated thunderstorms out in central Kansas, even in western Oklahoma, western Texas. You can see those aren't quite making it all the way to our area, but we are going to get a few showers and thunderstorms from these storms that are going to want to push a little bit further south and stay mostly south of I-44 and out in Oklahoma. You can see some of these showers that have already been passing by. So really, for the next couple of days, we're just getting these isolated chances of rain, pop-up thunderstorms. You can see we're still going to have one probably early in the morning as we head through the day. Pretty cloudy through the most of the rest of the day. Temperatures are starting in the low 60s and working their way up to the 70s, mid 70s again. Overall, not too bad. Now, we've had a low chance of storms late tonight. You can see from those isolated supercells that are moving across the state, might kind of push into our area, get a little bit of thunder over there, but really not going to be a big threat for today. Tomorrow, scattered storms, scattered showers, same on Saturday. Again, low risk, not even a low risk. So we're looking pretty good, at least for the next couple of days. So that's where we had our severe risk, kind of just our low risk right there. You can see how that storm kind of pushed in and fell apart immediately once it moved down to Oklahoma. Now it's going to continue to push off to the east. We're going to have a couple more pop-up thunderstorms overnight. This is about 6:30 in the morning on Friday. You can see some of these storms continuing to just kind of push through the area. And then as we head through the afternoon, sun comes back out. We might still have a couple of these isolated showers through the day and through the afternoon. And then more clouds start to push in along with more showers and thunderstorms. So this is Saturday, early afternoon. You can see how that storm is pushing into the Wichita area. Then it's going to be moving into our area. You might see a little bit of a wind threat there, a little stronger. But again, as it moves into our area, really falls apart. So this is about 9:30 p.m. hitting Pittsburgh all the way down to Joplin and then staying widespread most of south of I-44. And then that's going to clear out with a couple more isolated showers popping up through Sunday afternoon. Now, we've already talked about the severe threat once we get into Monday, so that's what we're really dealing with over the next couple of days. Still these pop-up storms, scattered showers. Overall for the weekend, a little bit cooler on Saturday following the cold front that passes on Friday. And then we have temperatures warming right back up on Sunday, those southerly winds. And we saw that a little bit ago, stronger wind gusts out of the south Sunday and Monday. And then Monday night and into Tuesday morning, we have that potential for a severe threat. As of right now, it's a little too far away to tell how severe that could be. But we've got some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms Monday night and Tuesday, with isolated storm chances still continuing Wednesday and Thursday, and then mostly mild temperatures. We've got a couple of warm days there. You know, Monday's a little bit warmer, and then once we get to next weekend it is. But overall, we're staying in the upper 60s to mid 70s, which is about average for this time of year. So, I mean, this is a pretty average spring looking forecast, especially with such a limited severe threat. So I can't complain about that.
I'm not seeing a lot of breaks in there to get my yard mowed, so that might be a problem.
Yeah, no, I agree. My yard is incredible. My grass is incredibly tall right now.
I don't think I can wait till next weekend either. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, an event at the Miami Public Library got some young green thumbs dirty today. Area kids learned how to make dish gardens. Experts from the Ottawa County OSU Extension Office gave the kids step-by-step instructions on how to plant and create their own unique botany design.
Personally, I like doing these activities. I love being able to teach kids, and to watch them come back as 4-H members teaching kids, I think that's when we know we've done our jobs.
Well, that free event was open to aspiring botanists ages 4 to 12. Coming up in sports, Carl Junction baseball tries to win its 4th game in a row, plus Riverton and Girard High School softball play a doubleheader. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Carl Junction High School baseball is 13-6 so far this season, and the Bulldogs have a home game this afternoon, riding a 3-game winning streak. Hillcrest pays a visit to Carl Junction today. The Bulldogs are going for their 4th consecutive victory. Bottom of the 1st inning, Cooper Vedix gets all of this pitch. That goes into the gap, and after a couple of bounces, it hits the wall in left center. He's got himself a stand-up double. Later in the frame, Brody Pants turns on one and rips it into left field. Vedix hustles around third, and he will slide in safely to score the first run of the game. Bulldogs jump out to a 2-0 lead in the first. Now in the second, 1 out, couple runners on for Hillcrest, but this one hopper to short turns into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. And then in the third, CJ's starting pitcher, Chase Smith, freezes the batter for his first strikeout of the contest. CJ keeps Hillcrest's bats quiet. Bulldogs win at 4-1 for their fourth in a row. Meanwhile, in Kansas, we've got a CNC softball doubleheader between Riverton and Girard. Fourth inning, Trojans up 9-5. Two runners on for the Rams, and Chloe Becca grounds to third. Girard can't make the play. A run comes home to score, and then Ava Coleman comes all the way in from second. She's called safe because of an obstruction. It's now 9-7. And in the fifth, Rams cut the lead to just one. Runner on, and Kinley King ties it up with a double to left. She gets thrown out going to third. We head to the sixth, tied at 10, and in the seventh, Trojans with two runners on. Autumn Avery slaps a single to left. Addison Brunk collides with the catcher at the plate, but she's safe. Girard takes an 11-10 lead. And then, bottom half of the inning, Lindsey Bryant makes a nice catch at second for the final out. The Trojans take the first one 11-10. Rams hoping to bounce back in game two. We start in the second inning. They're down by 2. Marley North lines a double into the gap. Next batter, Roxanne Felix, and she grounds this one sharply towards third. Briley Merrill fields it, throws on to first just in time for the out. Rams fail to score there. In the third inning, the Trojans with runners on second and third, one out. Maddie Kester flies it deep enough to bring home the runner on the sac fly. Girard leads 3-0 at that point. Next batter, Erica Boatman, and she lines one into left field. That drops in for a single. It's 4-0 Trojans, but on the mound, Felix settles in. She gets a fly ball to center here for the final out of the inning, and the Rams would rally for 6 runs, holding the Trojans scoreless the rest of the way. They win it 6-4. Over to the NBA playoffs, the Oklahoma City Thunder play Game 3 of their best-of-7 series against the Grizzlies tonight in Memphis. OKC with the 2-0 lead, but the script has been flipped so far tonight. It's been all Grizzlies, and with just a few minutes to go until halftime, Memphis holds a commanding 28-point lead, 65-37. And the first round of the NFL draft is underway right now. Kansas City Chiefs have the number 31 overall pick. We don't know yet who they'll be choosing. As we come on the air, the Minnesota Vikings are about to make their selection with the 24th pick. So sometime probably in the next hour or so, the Chiefs are going to be picking. And when you're in the Super Bowl seemingly every year, that's what happens. You pick towards the end of the draft.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully that won't make a difference, and we'll still have a really awesome team next year.
Yeah, you can bet they probably will.
All right, thanks, John. We're back with more news after this. Well, many of our everyday actions can take a toll on the environment, like washing our clothes. Advocates like Rachel Z. Miller, founder of the Rosalia Project for a Clean Ocean, says millions of plastic fibers shed from our clothing and are polluting the planet. Ted Linder takes a closer look at how you can help reduce the cycle.
You may not know it, but many clothing items like activewear, socks, sweaters, and more can contain plastic fibers.
Most of the clothing that we all wear is made out of synthetic or plastic-based materials. That may come as a surprise to people who kind of think about cotton t-shirts and wool and things like that. But the way it's all evolved is that the majority of our clothing is synthetic and the majority of that is polyester.
And as these clothes are worn and washed, their tiny plastic fibers can break apart.
When they break off those tiny little pieces of tiny fibers, that's called microfiber, and when it ends up in our natural environment, that's microfiber pollution.
A single load of laundry can generate millions of microfiber bits that overwhelm wastewater plants, causing the fibers to spread throughout the environment.
We've found them in waterways from high alpine lakes to the middle of the ocean. We know that microfiber is flying around the air, and it's been found in the soil, and it's been found in creatures at all levels of the marine food web and beyond.
To see which of your clothes may be prone to shedding, press a piece of clear tape to an item before sticking the tape to a piece of white paper. Any stuck fibers should be more visible behind the tape. Meanwhile, washing your clothes less and spot cleaning more can help reduce microfiber pollution. But when it comes time to do the laundry, cold water is your best friend.
Then air drying as much as you can instead of using a dryer.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Miller hopes her invention, the Cora Ball, can also help. Her device works by catching microfibers from clothes in the dryer. And besides a Cora Ball, Miller says placing clothes in a traditional washing bag can also keep fibers from shedding. Up next, we get a first look at the part reboot to the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's coming up in Hollywood Nation. A first look at the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel, this year's BET Awards host, and more, all in today's Hollywood Nation. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Do you think this is some kind of karma for what we did?
A summer slasher returns and Hart hosts in the Hollywood Nation. Comedian and actor Kevin Hart will host the 2025 BET Awards. Hart previously hosted back in 2011. It's the 25th anniversary of the show, celebrating Black culture and legacy. The ceremony airs live on BET June 9th from Los Angeles.
Get it? Okay.
John Mulaney announced the first leg of his new stand-up tour, John Mulaney, Mr. Whatever. He'll be in 31 cities across North America starting June 27th at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The announcement follows his recently launched Netflix talk show, Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. Variety reports Cynthia Erivo will be voicing a new audiobook edition of Gregory Maguire's Wicked. The star of stage and screen played Elphaba in the film adaptation of Wicked and returns for Wicked for Good in theaters this November. The audiobook is set to be released July 1st.
What did you do last summer?
In today's First Looks is the trailer for the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel, with new and returning cast including Jennifer Love Hewitt. The horror flick follows 5 friends who inadvertently cause a deadly car accident, cover it up, then face the consequences. It's in theaters this summer, July 18th.
Your first guest has arrived.
Plus, there's a first look at HBO's Mountainhead, written and directed by Succession creator Jesse Armstrong. The film follows a group of billionaire friends who get together against the backdrop of a rolling international crisis. The cast includes Steve Carell and Jason Schwartzman. It debuts on HBO and Max May 31st. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a Red River hog piglet born earlier this month at the Nashville Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.